Some houses are meant to protect the people inside them. Others are built to hide something far more dangerous. This is the Night House. The story follows a teenage boy named Richard Iloved, who moves to a small, isolated town after a personal tragedy shatters his life. The town feels quiet in an unsettling way, the kind of place where nothing ever seems to happen, yet everyone notices when something does. Richard is an outsider from the moment he arrives. He doesn't fit in. He keeps to himself, and he carries a sense of guilt and loss that he can't explain to anyone else. Not long after Richard settles in, something terrifying happens. A boy named Tom disappears. He doesn't vanish over time. He disappears suddenly, right in front of witnesses. Tom is last seen entering an old red telephone booth late at night. Moments later, the booth is empty. No body, no struggle, no explanation. The town is shaken, but the adults struggle to explain what happened. Police investigate, yet there are no clues, no evidence of violence. The official explanations feel forced, as if the truth is too uncomfortable to consider. Richard knows something is wrong, because he saw it happen. Soon after, rumors spread among the children. Whispers about an abandoned building on the edge of town, a place people call the Night House. Adults dismiss it as childish superstition, but fear quietly takes root. Then another boy disappears. This time, there are no witnesses, only silence. Richard begins to notice patterns others refuse to see. Each disappearance seems connected to strange places where sound behaves oddly, where shadows linger too long, where the air feels heavy and wrong. No one listens to him. Teachers blame imagination. Parents blame stress. Police blame coincidence. Left on his own, Richard becomes obsessed with finding answers. He sneaks out at night, watches abandoned areas, and maps the places where the town feels thin, as if reality itself is unstable. That's when he finds the house. The Night House looks ordinary at first. Old, neglected, forgotten. But the closer Richard gets, the more unsettling it becomes. Sounds echo where they shouldn't. Rooms feel larger on the inside than the outside suggests. Doors appear where none existed before. The house feels aware. Richard begins to suspect the house is not just a building, it's a trap, a place where children are lured, swallowed, and erased. As he digs deeper, Richard uncovers disturbing stories from the town's past. Children who vanished decades earlier, accidents that were never fully explained, families who left without warning and never returned. The pattern stretches further back than anyone wants to admit, and the center of it all is the Night House. Richard's grip on reality begins to weaken. The house plays tricks on his mind. He hears voices, sees shapes that disappear when he looks directly at them. Time behaves strangely inside its walls. He can't tell if the house is haunted or alive. At the same time, Richard's own buried trauma resurfaces. Memories connected to his family tragedy return in fragments. Pain, anger, and guilt mix with fear, making it harder to trust his own thoughts. The adults continue to ignore him, until Richard realizes something horrifying. The house doesn't take children at random. It takes children who feel invisible, children who believe no one would notice if they disappeared. And that realization terrifies Richard, because it means the house has already noticed him. With no one else willing to act, Richard makes a decision. He enters the Night House alone. Inside, reality collapses. Hallways stretch endlessly. Rooms rearrange themselves. Voices mimic people Richard misses most. The house uses memory and fear as weapons, feeding on vulnerability. Then the truth finally emerges. The horror is not supernatural. The house is connected to a man who learned how to manipulate sound, space, and architecture to create illusions so convincing they appear paranormal. A predator who used fear, belief, and silence to hide his crimes. The disappearances were not acts of magic. They were acts of human cruelty. The final confrontation forces Richard to face both the truth about the Night House and the pain he's been running from. To survive, he must stop seeing himself as powerless, and he does. The story ends not with comfort, but with clarity. The Night House is not just a horror story about missing children. It is a story about isolation, about how fear grows when people refuse to listen, and about how monsters are often created by silence rather than darkness. Because sometimes the most terrifying places are not haunted by ghosts, they are haunted by the things people choose not to see.